Good morning, friends, and welcome back to another video. I am back today and I'm excited to do my first currently inked video with you. This is November. I just wanted to share with you my growing collection of fountain pens and some of my favorite inks that I am using with each of them. We are going to get started with this side. This is a little Moterm pen case that I ordered directly from the company. It is fantastic and I've been using this for some of my entry-level pens. And then I ordered from Galen Leathers this natural, I think it's called the slip in something. It's like a little wallet that comes out. I wish I could just buy these on their own because these are so convenient to have out. But this is the natural leather undyed and it will patina over time, much like the straps on Louis Vuitton bags. I'll start with my little baby Kawecos. I absolutely love these little pens. These are the pens that I would recommend people get started with because they're just so cute and affordable, and I feel like they carry very well. I don't worry about throwing them in my bag. This is the Macchiato by Kaweco. I don't always use the cartridges. I like to explore with ink, but this is just the caramel brown Kaweco. These cost between $18 and $30 depending on where you're purchasing them from. I think this cost $25 on Amazon. Kaweco, and this is a fine nib. This is the Macchiato color. Caramel brown. And that's from Kaweco. Writes really smooth, especially for the cost of this pen. I just think these are really cute. I've loved watching videos on people who have a collection of Kawecos. It's not like the wettest ink, but it's actually very smooth. I don't have any issues with slow starts or skipping at all with either of my Kawecos. So since I am in the spirit, I've been doing my little Christmas trees to sample my things here. Yep, I love it. It's great. I'm also learning about myself that I definitely enjoy a medium nib, but for a fine nib, I think this is great. It's a tiny little nib. This is the caramel brown ink in the Kaweco Sport in a fine nib. And then shortly after that, I bought the Bordeaux, and this has gold trim accents. The Macchiato is silver and this one is gold. They're both beautiful. I haven't yet bought a clip for it, but it's just a matter of time. I'm sure I'll get a clip for it sooner than later. I recently purchased a bunch of sample inks from Goulet Pens, and with that purchase, I got this Diamine Oxblood, and I think it is the perfect ink color for my Bordeaux pen. So that is what I used in here. So this is another Kaweco Sport, and this is my jam here. I love the medium nib. This is a medium nib, and this is in Bordeaux. So beautiful, so smooth. And the ink is Diamine Oxblood. Oh, it's so, so pretty. Do our little Christmas tree over here. I've purchased a few more expensive pens, and I'll talk about them a little bit later. And I have to say, I feel like this writes better than some of the $100+ pens that I have purchased. So yeah, this packs a punch, and I gifted this to one of my friends. I'm also going to get a Kaweco Sport for my daughter for Christmas. I think I'm going to get my son the Metropolitan. And yeah, I think this is the perfect starter pen. I love it. I love it so much. I do have, let's do a little sample from here. Couldn't do this with the other one. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Oxblood is just beautiful. I love that ink. So pretty and so beautiful with the Bordeaux. Isn't that gorgeous together? I'm gonna bring it up a little closer for you. Put way more ink on that than I needed. It's really beautiful. It's one of my favorite inks. Diamine is quickly becoming one of my favorite inks that I've tried. I started like being obsessed with Ferris wheel press, and they have like such gorgeous packaging and beautiful shimmers. but I keep going back to Diamine for a lot of the inks. I also bought the Inkvent calendar, and you're going to see some of those inks in this lineup. Okay, next up, I'm going to talk about the Lamy Safari. I do want to show that I have two Lamy Safaris. This is the terracotta. This was a limited edition, and it went with like an olive green. And this is also a limited edition. This is the cream, and there is a strawberry. So two different sets, but this is what I landed on. This Lamy I have loved, and this has a steel nib, but it's coated with this black. And this writes really smoothly. This is just the black ink cartridge, so I'm not gonna sample it. Well, I can show you my concern with these pens. I loved this so much that I purchased the cream, and I got it in a fine nib because I'm realizing that I like thicker lines. And this one writes super smooth. I guess I am gonna sample this for you. This is the Lamy Safari terracotta. And this just has, you know, the cartridge ink in it. I am starting to buy a lot of converters, which, you know, I'm kind of new to this hobby. And when I started, I didn't realize that so many pens didn't come with converters. So that's been an added expense. And I'm just so appreciative when I buy a pen that I don't need a converter for, because I can start to play immediately with inks. So this wrote super smooth. This is the extra fine. And it's beautiful. And you can see these are all European brands. The nib is not very fine. So since I love that so much, I wanted to get this in a little bit of a thicker nib. So this is the Lamy Safari, and I'm gonna be quiet because it's so scratchy. So I don't know if I just got a bad nib. I don't know if it's because this is the steel nib versus the black coated nib on that, but this is fine. And I actually feel like this puts down a little bit more ink than this. Anyway, I initially had this inked up with a Sailor ink. It's really beautiful, but I didn't feel like it matched my pen. Let me just find a sample for you. Right here. New ink from my Lamy Safari, Sailor Magno Kuzo, and it was so beautiful. And this is more like a burgundy, but more pink than the Bordeaux. But I just felt like it didn't match my pen, and I'm also learning about myself that things have to coordinate to make me happy. I put in here, it's called Three Kings, and this is part of the Inkvent calendar that I purchased. And I think this is really a nice match for this. I'm gonna use a little bit less of a sample than I did with the Oxblood. I'm having a lot of fun with my Diamine Inkvent calendar. Oh, that's so pretty. It's like honey. It's so pretty. And what I really love about this, and this is an issue that I've been having with the Ferris wheel press inks, is a lot of the inks are absolutely beautiful if I were a painter, but just from a practical standpoint with writing, a lot of them aren't very legible. But I find this Diamine Three Kings to be extremely legible and beautiful. So I thought this was so pretty. And this is just one of their standard inks. I like putting standard inks in my smaller nibs because I've had some issues putting sparkles and stuff in extra fine or fine nibs. So I'm learning as I go. I'm still kind of a rookie here, but isn't that so beautiful? And I think it's so pretty for Thanksgiving and fall. So I don't love this nib. I feel like it's really scratchy, and it's not like feedback, it's like actual scratchy, but I still love the color, and I really do love my this one. I love my terracotta. So I don't know if it's just the nib, and this isn't expensive enough of a pen to really invest in working on it much. So I'm just gonna keep writing with it, and maybe I will wear down that scratch a little bit. But yeah, it is a beautiful color. And I think that Lamys are also a really nice entry-level pen. They're a longer length, obviously, than the Kawecos. So if you like that, you might like these as a starter. Okay, let's move on. We got our first snow last night here in Central Mass and looking outside, but now it's raining. I wish it was still snowing. This is the Pilot Metropolitan. So I picked up this pen on Goulet Pens recently. I think this is the brushed gold. They have some with like little designs here on the barrel, but I liked the simplicity of this. It has a silver clip. I have been really impressed with this. It's a little bit heavier, especially than the resin on the Kaweco and the Lamy, but this is really beautiful. I was very close to free shipping, and I think this was $18. So if I spent a little bit more money, I was able to get this. So you don't have to ask me twice. I mean, this writes so smooth. I can't believe this pen was $18. This is a medium nib. The color that I have in here is another sample, and this is beautiful. Actually pretty similar to Three Kings, but this is Robert Oster's Cafe Crema. It's so pretty. This pen, I can't say enough about it for the price. I mean, this is what I'm finding. Like some of these inexpensive pens are so worth it. I can't remember if this came with a converter or not. The Pilot converters are not the best. This is another little sample. You can get samples for like $2.75, $2.50 Goulet pens. Isn't that nice? So it is pretty similar to the Three Kings. Show you that. Definitely more of a brown element here. If you are new to fountain pens, I think this is a great pen to get started with. Really cute. Yeah, the ink flows so smoothly, and I think this is the brushed gold. You can get these in purple, you can get them, like I said, with fun designs, you can get them in black. So there's the difference between the two, but they are pretty similar. This definitely has more brown elements, this has more gold, and then especially in the writing sample, this presents more brown. Okay, so let's move on to the next pen that I have inked. Okay, this one is Ferris Wheel Press, and I believe this is the Lady Rose. This is called the Carousel pen. I feel like this kind of, it's very lightweight. This pen is growing on me, but I wouldn't say from a like quality standpoint. It feels like it could be like a Crayola pen, but as you get to know the pen, these are made in Canada. I do think that it's really nice. The cap is really tough. It is a snap off, and that's on there very secure. It has a little horse on the nib, and I think that's really cute. Put a couple different colors in here. I initially put this blushing mushroom in here because I think the color coordinates with this so well, and it's also from Ferris Wheel Press, and I wanted to try this out. I also bought a full bottle of Stroke of Midnight, which I really like, but I find that both of these inks work better in a medium nib because of the sparkle. I have this Dusted Truffle from Diamine ink. This is from the Inkvent calendar as well, and this I think is a good example of a really pretty ink, but it doesn't show up well on paper. And some people love that. Some people love the lighter inks, but I'm finding that for me, I like a little bit of a bolder ink when I'm writing, but this is still beautiful. I really love the color. Okay, so this is Ferris Wheel Press. This is a fine nib. Oh, and this is called the Carousel fountain pen. Okay, and this is in Lady Rose. That's the color of my pen, and they also have an ink that matches this Lady Rose, I believe. My battery died. I'm not used to having my camera overhead. I do have a second channel for those of you who are new over here. My main channel is a thrifting channel. It's called Lori's Boston Found, and there'll be a link in my description if you want to check it out. It's all about my adventures in thrifting. I started this second channel in February. This is called, my channel here is Time with Tata, and I kind of explore all of my passions, and fountain pens have been on the top of that list lately. So I'm getting a lot of fountain pen content these days. So where was I? Ferris Wheel Press is fine nib, Carousel fountain pen, Lady Rose, and we are using Dusted Truffle. So I do think that this is still pretty legible on paper. It's light, but the pen is writing very smoothly. It's really pretty. In the first couple inks that I had in here, I didn't like as much. I think it's amazing how the ink can change my perspective on a pen, whether I like it or not. So here we go, some lines. But let's give this a try. And I think this has a little shimmer in it. So it is nice that the ink is flowing pretty well, even given that it's a shimmer ink. Don't need too much. I don't know if that has more shimmer when it dries. I wouldn't call this like the prettiest color, but I really do like it when it's down on the paper. Definitely going for a lot of earth tones, especially in the fall. I imagine that as we turn the page and head into December, I will put more festive colors, and it's so much fun. I've been loving it. That is Ferris wheel press with dusted truffle, which I think is really nice. I better pick up the pace here. And then I have my TWSBI, which was the first pen that I bought that I was super excited about, and I actually did a video. I was inking this up for the first time. It's the first pen that I ever put ink in, so it was a very big deal to me. This has a great ink capacity. This is the TWSBI Eco in the rose gold. If you can get the Ecos for more like $32, paid a little bit extra to have the rose gold. No regrets, I love it. I went to a shop in Cambridge, Mass to get the ink for this because I couldn't wait for anything to be delivered. I was that impulsive. Decided one afternoon I need to ink this up tonight. So I went and I bought this Pelikan Brilliant Brown, Pelikan 4001, and I think this is a great ink. If I had to have a full bottle of something, this Pelikan is really pretty. Again, more with the browns. I apologize if you're into brighter colors. TWSBI Eco in the rose gold. And this is a fine nib. Now this I think is a perfect nib at fine. I feel like if I got this in a medium, it would really put a lot of ink down. I wouldn't mind that, but this as a fine is beautiful. The nib is pretty and it's just plated in the rose gold and I love it. Pelikan 4001. This is so smooth. I feel like this is such a consistent pen, and if you really love an ink, this is a good one. I'm finding I have a very short attention span with inks. Let me know if you're the same way. I'm kind of rooting for certain inks to be done so I can put in more ink because it just brings new life to the pen. But this one, I've been proud of myself that I've been using it all up. Feels a little smoother on the downstrokes than on the side strokes, but it's really, this is beautiful. Let's see if we can get a quick sample down for you. Lots of browns on this page. I think we have a little bit more exciting stuff coming on the next page, maybe. More browns though, definitely. So here we go. So pretty. That's so pretty. Don't think that there's a shimmer, is there? I don't know, we'll see as it dries. I've played with so many inks now. It's a good thing I document what I'm using because I went to film this and I forgot 3 of the colors. So I had to do some research last night. I have this, I tacked this little thing in here with all of my colors, November 15th. I put it right in between 2 of my journal entries that had all of my inks so I wouldn't forget. So these are my colors here for you. They're really beautiful. Okay, so as this one is drying, you can see that that has some of the elements in this that are really, really pretty that I don't feel like you can appreciate when you're just writing. But if you're painting with this ink, Ferris wheel press inks are just beautiful. All right, so moving on. These are so pretty, although I'm having a problem with my Visconti, but we'll talk about that. This is a Sailor Pro Gear Slim. This was the first 14 karat gold nib that I purchased, and I got it on Amazon at a deep discount. I was so disappointed when I started to write with this. I have watched so many videos, so many people love Sailor, and I think I put Stroke of Midnight in here from Ferris wheel press that has that shimmer in it, and it was skipping. There were hard starts. I could not believe that I had paid, I mean, and I got a discount on this, but I had paid close to $100 for this. My TWSBI, my Kaweco, my terracotta Lamy Safari, my Metropolitan, they all wrote better than this. And I was like, what is going on? I was so sad. Then I put Diatrimis Document Black Blue, which was another sample. from Goulet pens, and wow, what a difference. Now I write with this all the time. It has a little feedback, but I love it so much, and I'm now looking at more sailors. My husband is going to Japan the first week of December. If anybody has any Japan exclusive suggestions for me, I am so excited. He's going to go to, I think it's called Itoya in Tokyo. It's like an 8-floor stationery store. I wish so much that I was going with him, but he's going to do some shopping for me, and I can't wait. And I'm between the big three, Pilot, Platinum, and Sailor. Those are all Japanese brands, so I definitely want him to get one of those, and I don't know what to get. I'm thinking a little bit about the Pilot Custom 823. There's a Sailor exclusive for the particular store that I'm also leaning towards. I'd love to get something that you can only get in Japan, you know? I gotta cap this. This is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. Oh my gosh, this is so much better. So much better. And this is in a medium fine nib. I'm seeing that there are places where it looks like a little thick with the ink. There's a little extra ink on the tip of my nib here. I'm gonna clean that off a bit. And this is am I spelling that right? A-T-R-A-M-E-N-T-I-S. Yes. Document. Black, blue. I want to try this ink out in just black, and I'm thinking about putting that in either this or more than likely my Vanishing point. But what a difference this has made. So there is feedback on this. It's kind of a stiffer nib. It's a 14 karat gold nib, but I actually kind of love it. I feel like all these pens have different personalities, and this one has grown on me so much. I was just so happy when I put a different ink in here and it performed so much better that it gave me hope. I was really disappointed at first. But I love it, and I love the aesthetic of Sailor. I think they have the prettiest pens, very feminine line. I'm learning about myself that I like the more feminine pens. It's all about the aesthetic and how it coordinates with my leather covers and my inks. When my pens and stationery are pretty, it just makes me happy. It's who I am. Oh yeah, this is so smooth. I love it now. I'm just so happy. Write my name. Yeah, it's so nice. I love it. Thank goodness. So let's get a little sample of this. I don't think that there's going to be anything too fancy about this. I like going back to the ink after they dry, because that's, I feel like, when you really get a taste of it. Don't want to put too much on here. And I'm not one to really love blue inks. This really almost presents like a denim, so that's kind of pretty. I haven't seen this laid out like that. Kind of reminds me of Stroke of Midnight, actually. I definitely like the black blues. I favor them much more over like the royal blues, but isn't that so pretty? I'm gonna come back to this. You can see the Ferris wheel press, isn't that as that's drying, and the brilliant brown. Does look like it has a little shimmer in it. The inks are so much fun. So yes, my Pro Gear Slim has totally redeemed itself. I'm so thrilled with it. I want to do like a review on all of these pens. I'm buying them too fast. I can't keep up with the videos. But my husband bought me this Visconti pen. It was the first pen that he bought me. We were in Florida. He was going to buy me a pen when we were down there, and I just didn't see anything that I liked. We had traveled to Florida when my son, we had traveled to Italy when my son Anthony was studying in Florence. I just thought this was so beautiful. It was pink. I found it on a random website called Ashford. It's like more of a luxury website than a pen website, and I'd never heard of this Venus. I would say that Visconti is best known for their Homo sapien pen, which is much more expensive, but I wanted to try this out. I loved all the detail in this. It's so beautiful. This only came with the cartridge, so I'm waiting for the converter, but this is one of those pens that I'm a little disappointed. It could just be the ink, but this is just in Visconti, most of the stuff, see, now it's writing kind of well. Now that looks beautiful to me. This is the Venus. Whoops, Venus. And yeah, gosh, it's writing really beautiful now. Who knew? Definitely more feedback. It feels a little bit more like this when I write. The one thing is that this kind of comes unscrewed easily. So as you can see right now, there's just a cartridge in here. But I'm hoping that this is going to be one of those pens that once I get the right ink in, I get the converter in, it will grow on me, because I really do love the look of this. It was very hard for me to find much information on the Venus. There's a lot on, I believe it's the Van Gogh, and I think that that is what this is the most similar to. I'm hoping that this ends up working out for me. So this is just with the cartridge ink. You know what? It's actually doing really well right now, so no complaints. And it is a fine nib. Everything I see about Visconti talks about how smooth of a writer it is, but look at that, ink is super dry. So I bet that has a lot to do with it. I'm going to do a proper review of this pen because there's not much information about this pen out there that I could find. And then once I get the converter in and then some ink, I think we will have a totally different experience. Oh my gosh. This is like Tigger, this pen. I feel like it bounces all around. This is my newest pen. This is the classic Pilot Vanishing point, and I was so excited. Oh my gosh, I think I just got a scratch on it. It just fell in my trash. Oh my gosh, I'm heartbroken. I've been babying this because it's matte black. Anyway, I love this pen. This has this really springy little, like, this is why I call it Tigger, it like bounces right out. This is the, what is this? The Con 40 converter, and this nib is really, really skinny, and this pen writes beautifully, but the converter carries very little ink. I'm struggling with the converter on this. But anyways, the Vanishing point I wanted to get as like something that I could do my daily writing with, and it is this clickable, one-handed. You can click it. It doesn't have a top, which I think is what is so unique about this. I love the matte black finish, and I'm loving this pen so, so much. If I can figure out the converter, I think this is going to be one of my favorites. So this is the, oh my gosh, this writes so smoothly. This and my next one are my two smoothest writers by far. So this is the Pilot Vanishing point. And look at me branching out with the green ink. This is the second ink that I've put in here. This is a medium nib. I learned that I like medium, especially with Pilot. So I have a medium nib in this. And what is in here, which I'm loving, is also from Diamine. And then this is from the Inkvent calendar. This is Diamine Alpine. And it's a real nice, deep green. It's just so beautiful. And I love it. Oh my gosh, this is honestly so beautiful to write with. Let's give you some ink. This Alpine is really pretty. I'm excited to see this shimmer because I don't really get the shimmer effect. You can see it in there. Oh, that's going to dry so beautiful. Oh, these Diamine inks are so pretty. Let me see if I can speed up that process for you so we can see the shimmer. Actually has like some more like yellowish or gold undertones when you see it like this. So beautiful, and I kind of really love the combo with the black pen. And I did a big writing sample with this yesterday, and this is what it looks like in my Hobonichi. Just absolutely beautiful. I can't say enough about this pen, except the converter's really bad, and I'm so sad I just scratched it. We're going to close things out with my beautiful Bennu. I also did a video on this, unboxing this and trying it for the first time. This is just so beautiful. I feel like this is my most artistic pen. I just love the sparkles in this. This is sold out on Goulet pens. I said when I did this video, the first pen that I looked at and said, oh my gosh, I have to have that pen. It's Iced Caramel Latte is the name of it. It's got the gold sparkles. It's got all these browns and earth tones that I love so much. So this is the Euphoria pen. And this is the largest pen that I have. Luckily, it's pretty light because I think that this would get very heavy for me. Bennu. It's just so smooth. Okay, and the color that I have in here, I started with, I think it was Cocoa Shimmer, which may have been Diamine, but then I switched to Yule Log from the Inkvent series. So pretty. I think you do get a little bit of line variation, and you can kind of see the shimmer in here. This color is really so beautiful. I can't wait to show it to you. Did I write down all the info here? Oh no, I didn't write down my color. I'm having so much fun writing. Diamine Yule Log from the Inkvent. I'm really having a good time with the Inkvent calendar. And it's a good way for somebody like me as a beginner to dip my toes and try out a bunch of new inks. And I will say, because I do have a short attention span with inks, I think it's kind of nice to have these smaller bottles. But again, another brown. This one has a ton of shimmer in it. I kind of want to shake this a little bit better because I feel like I'm not seeing a lot of the shimmer. Oh yeah, look, all of my shimmer is on the bottom. Let's shake that up. All right, so I definitely have a lot of browns in my lineup, more than I even realized. I love when that shimmer dries, and it really just shows up so nice on this paper. Here is our lineup. We'll go through everything. So we have the Kaweco Sport with the macchiato and the caramel brown. Right here, we have the Bordeaux with the Diamine Oxblood, which is really beautiful. And then the Lamy Safari with the Three Kings, which is from the Diamine Inkvent calendar. And I think all of these pair so nicely. Now you can see these all dried. Really beautiful. And then moving on to the Pilot Metropolitan with Robert Oster Cafe Crema. This is a real classic. Look at the shading in there. I think it's so beautiful. This pairs really nicely with the Lady Rose. I think that really complements each other. Now that you can see it dry, I think you can really appreciate it. And for a light color, I do think that puts down a nice legible sample. And here is my TWSBI Eco with the Brilliant Brown. Feels like forever ago when I purchased this, but. And then moving on over here, we have my Sailor Pro Gear Slim in a medium fine nib with the Diatrimis Document Black Blue. This ink saved this pen for me. My Visconti, which I think is going to be a really great pen as soon as we get some nice ink in there. That was really dry ink, but the more I use it, the better it gets. And my wonderful Pilot Vanishing Point, which I absolutely love with the Diamine Alpine. It's so pretty. Love that combination here as well. And then last but not least, my Bennu Iced Caramel Latte with the Diamine Yule Log from the Inkvent calendar. Let's see if we can get some of the shimmer in there as this dries. You can see how this one, once I shook it with the shimmer, has a lot more of the like bronzy color in there. This pen, I just can't say enough about this. Here they all are together, like a beautiful fall assembly of color. I'm very excited for December and to try some new inks. this has been my favorite hobby in such a long time. So thank you for coming along for the ride with me. Be sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more things that I am passionate about in the world of luxury handbags, journaling, and fountain pens and planning. It's all here. I'm also going to be starting a series called Family Traditions where I share some of my family recipes with you. We made some limoncello for Christmas gifts, so that's coming soon. So thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks, everybody.